As some of you know, I've been carrying a bit of an injury for the last couple of weeks, and I was hoping it was going to be okay today and I was going to be able to get up into the hills. But unfortunately, I've had to come up with another plan. Fortunately, it's not the end of the world. I have the whole of the Lake District at my disposal, and I've got a Land Rover. So my plan for today is just to jump in the car, head off, have a bit of an explore, and see where I end up. So I'm going to start at the north end of Bassenthwaite Lake, and I've been here a number of times and I've never really found a composition that I'm happy with, and today's no exception. So I think it's time to jump in the car and head on. I've just been driving along the road that runs to the north of the Lake District National Park, north of Skiddaw and Blencathra, and as I was driving along I spotted this old piece of farm machinery in a field next to the road. Now I thought that might make for an interesting subject for a photo, so I pulled over. Unfortunately, the field that the machinery is in is all locked up, and I don't want to go climbing over gates or trespassing or anything like that. So I've set up in the field next to it that has a bridle path running through it. And I think this might make for an interesting shot. We've got quite a good sky today, there's lots of cloud about, and so I've put on a 3-stop soft edge grad to try and pick out as much drama as I possibly can. And like I say, I think this one could be alright. Come a little bit further down the road and I've stopped again because I spotted this beautiful scene behind me. Now it's really windy up here, so I'm going to get the telephoto lens on, get a shot and then get back to the car. When I left home this morning, I didn't think I'd end up here at the beach. After I took the last shot, I just jumped back in the car and I just decided to drive north, getting further and further away from the national park. And I drove through some very pretty villages and some lovely countryside, and the further north I got, the flatter the landscape started to become. And eventually I arrived at a place called Silloth, which is in the very top left hand corner of Cumbria. It looked like a lovely little place. I stopped and had a little look round, and it's right on the coast, and you can see Scotland. You can see across the Solway Firth towards Scotland, and from there I then drove south towards Maryport, and I've stopped along the way and I'm on the beach, and I think I'm going to take some photos of the surf crashing, something quite minimalist. It's not the most attractive beach in the world and it's not a brilliant day, but I'm here now, so might as well see how I get on. But that was quite good fun. I don't really know what I'm doing with seascapes. I don't do them very often at all. So all I did was set my tripod up nice and low, focused on the pebbles just where the surf was breaking, got the horizon on the upper third, and I just fired off shot after shot trying to time it to catch some of the waves crashing in. Now I don't know how many shots I've taken, 20, maybe 30. So what I'll do is I'll pick my favourite and I'll show that up now. And now I'm going to go and get in the car and drive on to my next location. That's the great thing about today, just don't know where I'm going to end up. So when I left the beach about an hour or so ago, I didn't think I'd end up back at Bassenthwaite. That's quite a menacing sky behind me. I think that could be really cool. And I've got these rocks here as well, so I'm thinking long exposure with them as foreground interest. I think that shot turned out okay. It is pretty windy today, but fortunately that wind is blowing directly down the lake, so any of this drizzle that's about is hitting the back of the camera and not the front of the lens. So hopefully that's turned out okay. So I'm now going to go on to my 5th and final location, and at this stage I've got no idea what that's going to be. This is the church at Wythburn, which is on the A591 close to Thingamabob. This is my final location. And I'm in here sheltering from the rain because it's absolutely chucking it down. And I'm going to finish up today by taking a picture of the stained glass window behind me. We landscape photographers live and die by our planning, but sometimes it helps just to go with the flow. It helps us find new locations, and it helps to add a certain spontaneity to our work. Next weekend, instead of planning everything to the nth degree, why don't you just jump in the car and see where it takes you. Thanks ever so much for watching, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next week.